This is the Dollemore Daily, and I'm Jesse Dollemore.
I hate when something breaks on the weekend and I've already turned off the lights in the studio and the camera goes dark and it's kind of spooky in here and I don't want to come back in until Monday. But something happened this weekend that almost had me come back in. And that was that Brett Kavanaugh went out to dinner at Morton's. I don't know why a Supreme Court justice would go to Morton's, but he's trying to enjoy a great dinner. And protesters showed up. Because why should he have the right to privacy when he just negated tens of millions of women's right to privacy relative to their healthcare choices? I'm A-OK with people protesting. I'm A-OK with people getting in his face about it. That's not what happened here. There was just a protest outside the restaurant. Nobody entered the restaurant. He never had contact with the protesters. He was scurried out a back entrance. He had to skip dessert, or he chose to skip dessert. We're not sure. And Morton's made a statement. First of all, let me say this. Morton's. As I tweeted, eat shit, Morton's. I will never darken the door of a Morton's again. And that wasn't my favorite joint to begin with. Their crappy fare. But after this little ditty, when they could have just remained silent, it made the decision for me. Morton said this after the event with Brett Kavanaugh, the liar. Honorable Supreme Court Justice Kavanaugh. That's how it starts. Honorable liar, Supreme Court Justice Kavanaugh, and all of our other patrons at the restaurant were unduly harassed by unruly protesters while eating at the slop trough, that is Morton's restaurant. Politics, regardless of your side or views, should not trample the freedom at play of the right to congregate and eat dinner. Brett Kavanaugh has a right to eat dinner at Morton's. There is a time and place for everything. Disturbing the dinner of all of our customers was an act of selfishness and void of decency. So you can do what you want relative to the mediocre at best Steakhouse, Morton's, but this is nonsense. No one was harassing, no one was trampling the freedom to eat at a restaurant. People were outside of the restaurant practicing their First Amendment right to assembly, to redress their government, to protest peacefully. And it was peaceful. There were no threats. There were no intimidation. If he is so thin-skinned to have to be protected by a second-rate steakhouse, maybe he's too weak to be on the court. Well, anyway, Pete Buttigieg, the transportation secretary, former Indiana mayor, was on Fox News Sunday, and they asked him about it. They were grilling him about it because his husband, Chasten, tweeted something about, sounds like he just wanted some privacy to make his own dining decisions, is what he tweeted. And they had, Fox News Sunday had to ask some questions about it. So here we go. Let's watch this clip. We'll talk about it on the other side.
Let's go to a red-hot issue here in Washington. Your husband tweeted after Justice Brett Kavanaugh left a Washington restaurant due to protesters. The tweet reads, sounds like he just wanted some privacy to make his own dining decisions. Is that appropriate, sir?
Look, when public officials go into public life, we should expect two things. One, you should always be free from violence, harassment, and intimidation. And two, you're never going to be free from criticism or peaceful protest, people exercising their First Amendment rights. Okay. And that's what happened in this case. Remember, the justice never even came into contact with these protesters, reportedly didn't see or hear them. And these protesters are upset because a right, an important right, that the majority of Americans support was taken away.
Understood.
Not only the right to choose, by the way, but this justice was part of the process of stripping away the right to privacy. As long as I've been alive, settled case law in the United States has been that the Constitution protected a right to privacy, and that has now been thrown out the window by justices, including Justice Kavanaugh, who, as I recall, swore up and down in front of God and everyone, including the United States Congress, that they were going to leave settled case law alone. So yes, people are upset. They're going to exercise their First Amendment rights. And as long as that's peaceful, that's protected. Compare that, for example, to the reality that as a country, right now, we're reckoning with the fact that a mob summoned by the former president
All right, well, let me follow up, Mr.
violently
Secretary.
attacked the United States Capitol for the purpose of overthrowing the election and very nearly succeeded in preventing the peaceful transfer of power.
But
I think common sense can tell the difference.
But as a high-profile public figure, sir, are you comfortable with protesters protesting when you and your husband go to dinner at a restaurant?
Protesting peacefully outside in a public space? Sure. Look, I can't even tell you the number of spaces, venues, and scenarios where I've been protested. And the bottom line is this. Any public figure should always, always be free from violence, intimidation, and harassment, but should never be free from criticism or people exercising their First Amendment.
You see, conservatives have a fundamental misunderstanding of what the First Amendment is and what we are free from. You should be free from, as Pete Buttigieg says, harassment, violence, and intimidation. But if you believe you are too royal, too important to be protested, if you believe you hold too special a spot in the American experience to have people exercise their First Amendment rights of protest and redress, and you call that harassment, that's when we got a problem. And that is where several of our Supreme Court justices find themselves right now. Believe that they hold a station so lofty, so high, so important, so grandiose in America that, oh, good Lord, I gotta eat my steak in peace, y'all. You can't sit outside the window on public land, on a sidewalk, and raise your voices in protest. Oh, this just won't do. Brett Kavanaugh, he believes. Morton's believes that the Honorable Supreme Court Justice Kavanaugh unduly harassed. Apparently Morton's doesn't also believe in the First Amendment right to protest. A seminal part of American life. You would think that a Supreme Court justice would understand the nuances. I mean, maybe a dopey Steakhouse doesn't, but you would think a Supreme Court justice does. Especially the irony that's thick here, that he wants his privacy while stripping away women's privacy. Gross. What do you think? I'd love to know. You can call, leave me a brief voicemail, 714-576-4054. Of course, you can email me, daily@dollemore.com. And I would invite you to follow me on the social media. I am at Dollemore on all of these. TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, at Dollemore. Accept no imitations. And if I bring you value and you'd like to support my work, please consider supporting what I do here, helping produce what I do here. You can click the join button below this video, become a channel member for about $1.99 a month, just pennies a day. Or you can go over to patreon.com/IDoubtItPodcast. Both those are great ways to help support what I do right here. Anyway, I love you guys. I appreciate you so much. I'll see you next time. Until I do, be genuine. Take care of one another.